Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I just wanted to make a quick news video about some of the information we got from Pokemon today about the 2017 circuit. Now you may be wondering, why am I making this video if 2017 is still 4 months away? Reason is, the 2016-2017 season actually starts right after the World Championships end next week, so you're gonna want to get a head start, and this information is a big deal. Next year is really poised to be the largest year of VGC yet, especially with the release of Sun and Moon, and the information that came out today shows that Pokemon clearly cares a ton about growing VGC, and there's so much potential. Obviously, there's still a lot that we don't know, and I'm really hoping that we get a good rule set for 2017, but for those wondering, we'll most likely switch to the VGC 2017 format on January 1st, but we'll be playing with VGC 2016 rules before that. However, even with the old rules, we most likely will see the new changes being implemented, so that's a big deal. And I want to do so much content for basically the next season because I think it's, the season where everyone's going to want to play, and it's the season where it's finally time for VGC to really grow. So I'm going to do my best to keep you guys informed and to keep on teaching you guys and helping you guys learn. And I hope you guys enjoy this kind of content and find it helpful. Definitely leave a like if you do. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. If you want to follow along with the article, it's linked in the description below as well, and I highly recommend that. So basically, there are 4 main points that I'm going to break down further in future slides. First of all, there's this new tournament that's kind of a Continental Championship, and those basically replace the old Nationals that we had. As a result, Play Pokemon no longer will be holding Nationals, but when you read that, don't be afraid. These Continental Championships are going to be much better events, and they're going to be bigger as well. Regionals will be restructured, and there's significantly better pricing now at individual regionals, and Premier Challenges and Mid-Season Showdowns will be returning. So what does all of this mean? First of all, let's talk about maybe the biggest piece of news, Continental Championships. Now, they're not technically called that, but for convenience sake, it makes a lot of sense. So there are going to be 4 of these events, and they're going to be in the 4 rating zones: Europe, North America, Latin America, and Asia Pacific. These events will take place throughout the season, and the biggest point to that paragraph is that they're open to all players worldwide. So you could play in all 4, technically, if they don't fall under the same day, and of course if you have the expenses to travel to these events. Now, they are basically replacing individual nationals for these major events. If you live in North America or the US, this isn't too much of a change. Now US will probably incorporate obviously Canada and Mexico, so we're going to see more players from those regions come into the North America Championships. But it's a bigger deal in all the other regions that had several nationals. Now, for example, Europe had 3 nationals this year, I believe is UK, Italy, and Germany, and instead now they'll have one kind of Continental Championship. The reason why this event's really interesting is because there's so much on the line now. Before, for all non-US based championships, national championships, there was really not very much prizing on the line. Of course, World's trips were on the line, and that was a big deal. But now, all the non-US regions get a lot more love in terms of prize pools. You see that they have huge championship point payouts. Of course, that's to be determined, but this most likely will be the event of the year before the World Championships, and a prize pool of nearly $250,000 per event. Of course, that's going to be divided between 3 age divisions and 2 different games in trading card and video game, but that's still a big deal. The previous national championships national champions of any non-US region got $0 in prize money, and that's kind of ridiculous. Like, the kind of quality of play, especially at the European national championships this year, were so high, yet the national championships got nothing other than, I think it was like a trophy, a Wii U, of course travel to Worlds, but they deserve more for that, and it's great that Pokemon's finally giving all these regions love: Europe, Latin America, and Asia Pacific. The other really cool thing is that travel awards and stipends will actually be available to these players based off their performance in their home rating zone. So for those that don't know, players in America, like top performing players, it was the top 64 the last 2 years, they would get either a free plane ticket or like $1,000 or $750 to basically help them get to nationals. Now basically with this Continental Championship, it seems like Pokemon's going to be giving top players in each region money or travel awards to help them attend these championships, and that's a big deal. It means if you're performing well at regionals, at Premier Challenges, at mid-seasons, then you'll be able to get money to help you go to these Continental Championships, and so that's huge motivation to perform before kind of the national / even Continental stage. So that's a really big deal. All of this is such good news, especially for regions that didn't have as good pricing basically everywhere but North America. So these are the key points. Basically 4 Continental Championships throughout the year, no region restriction, you can play anywhere, going to be a huge CP payout. As I mentioned, probably going to be the event just under Worlds, so this is the event that you're going to want to win other than the World Championships. This is even bigger than Nationals before, and there's a lot more on the line in terms of money. So stipends and travel awards for all top players in all regions, so that's fantastic. Now, even if you're a European player, a Latin America player, or Asia Pacific player, you'll be able to potentially win money or flights to your respective Continental Championships. And this basically replaces the old quote-unquote nationals we had. So that's a little bit unfortunate, right? Because before we had multiple kind of big nationals, but they really range in terms of size and location. So now we have one kind of huge event like Play Pokemon should be holding, and that means there's going to be a lot of effort. If you had to ask me, these events, all 4 of these will probably be streamed and live commentated, and so there's going to be a lot of coverage for these, and there's going to get a lot more love. So hopefully you guys are excited for this. I'm actually contemplating maybe flying out to 1 or 2 if it kind of permits with my schedule, just because these are going to be big tournaments, and there's going to be a lot of the line, but also it's going to be a great opportunity to just meet a lot of people even outside of your region. So what about nationals? Like I mentioned, Play Pokemon no longer will hold state or national championships. States refers to TCG, so video game players don't have to worry about that. The Play Pokemon team, however, can independently operate national championships on a case-by-case basis, and there will be prizes at these events, but it's really up to Pokemon's jurisdiction. I really don't know which events they will be approving, whether regions that used to have nationals like the US, UK, Germany, Italy are still going to have a nationals. I would guess maybe not, but I'm not entirely sure. I think they're really trying to just push this whole Continental tournament hard, and once again, that's still such a big deal because now we just see so much more pricing and support going into these regions. And you know, obviously the US has gotten a lot of love in the last couple of years, but Pokemon's finally expanding outwards. The second probably biggest thing to all this new news is the changes, or I should say are the changes to regionals. So regionals now are going to be a lot more accessible, and they're going to offer a lot more prize money / scholarships / travel certificates. So they're going to be spread out a little bit more throughout the season. Before, it was like you had your fall, your winter, and your spring season, and then within those, you know, seasons, you'd have like 3 weekends that you could choose to go to regionals. So technically you could have gone to 9 regionals last year, but that's a lot of traveling, and they're all within the same time, often inconvenient. Now it seems like they're not going to be as clustered. I know there's already been one announced in October, one announced in December, one announced in March, and so it seems like they're going to be a little bit more sporadic in terms of dates, so it allows players to attend and, you know, spread out more in terms of going to regionals. And that's awesome because it means that we won't be dividing kind of attendance as much, if you had to ask me. The other big thing is, you know, obviously no residency restrictions, so you can come to any regionals. If you're outside of the US, you can come into the US. US players can travel abroad and attend these. It's free to travel to any foreign event, they're free to travel. It's not obviously free to go to those events, but that's an awesome deal, and I actually really love this change, and it's something I've been pushing for a long time. Reason being is that now there's significantly better pricing at regionals. There's over $50,000 in prize money alone, and there was $0 combined last year. Like the last couple of regionals I've won, I got a DS, a trophy, and 2 boxes of trading cards. That was basically it. And obviously none of us play Pokemon for the money, but even if a top player, like literally first place at a tournament gets that, like, you know, there's no love, especially to the lower players that are, you know, in second place, top 4, top 8, top 16. So now it's like Pokemon's like, okay, we understand that these regionals are still a big deal. Like the 2 regionals that, or you know, multiple regionals I've been to, 200 plus people. The Philadelphia one I went to last year had 350 plus. You know, just these are big events, and Sun and Moon's gonna have even a bigger draw for people to want to come to these events. So better pricing is a big deal, especially for top players who are trying to travel to more events. But I'm hoping that, you know, they give prizes out so maybe the top 16, so that people outside of just the top 1 or 2, you know, get some more love as well in terms of pricing. They're more spread out throughout the year, as I mentioned earlier, and no region restrictions, so you are free to travel. We have no idea how many regionals are going to be approved within all the different regions, but that news is slowly coming out in terms of the US, so definitely follow my Twitter if you don't already, because I've been tweeting a little bit about it, and I'll be making a future video when all the regionals are actually officially announced. So the third point, and is just kind of smaller, you know, PCs and mid-season showdowns will stay. That's not too much of a surprise. I think the biggest issue with those tournaments this year is that they gave out far too many championship points. So these are great events because they help promote local play, and I'm just hoping that the championship point distribution will be scaled a little bit better next year. And I'm really expecting that. Pokemon knows that there were a lot of invites given out this year, and you could easily get an invite from solely attending premier challenges and mid-seasons, and you know, those events can heavily range on difficulty based off where you live. So I expect that Pokemon is going to make these events a little bit less significant, but still important enough that you're going to want to attend them, and obviously it promotes and fosters a healthy local scene. So it's good that they're not removing them. Hopefully they just get rid of the fact that they gave out so many championship points. So all in all, what is there to take away from this video? First of all, Pokemon's putting in a lot more money and prizing into their events. these Continental Championships, they're a big deal. If you're a non-US player, you know, you probably have not been able to win very much from Pokemon, even if you are the best player in your regions, just because of the fact that pricing for Pokemon historically has been really bad. This completely changes things up, and you know, you definitely have to look forward to that. I know I'm really excited in general too, because now there are bigger events, they're going to be higher quality players, more stakes on the line, and people might be traveling a little bit more to go to these events. So Continental events, you know, second to Worlds now basically in terms of size and prestige from what I could tell, and more love to non-US regions. All of this is just such a huge opportunity for the game to grow. I've been saying that 2017 is the year to capitalize for VGC and for competitive Pokemon, and Pokemon clearly realizes this as well. These are some of the biggest changes that we've ever seen in VGC history, and there's still a lot of information to be determined, obviously. You know, how frequent will these regionals be? Where are these Continental events? Which regions will have nationals or not? What's the championship and Worlds qualifying scale going to look like? That's all information that's going to be coming out. But the fact that Pokemon has announced this already is really promising. It means that you can get a head start, and if I were you, I'd recommend just saving up for those Continental events. Even if it costs a decent amount, I would say they're probably going to be worth going to because they're going to be a big deal. And I know I'm definitely going to be saving up to go to the US one and maybe one other non-US based one. So you're definitely going to want to keep your eyes out on that, since nationals, you know, are basically replaced with these events now. So pay attention to Pokemon.com and my channel. I also tweet about all of this stuff at Cybertron VGC on Twitter, and that's basically the conclusion. Pokemon cares a lot about VGC, evidently, and they're really trying to help it grow, so I'm going to do my best to play my part, get more people into the game, and help them learn, and I hope that you guys found something helpful from this video. So, if there's any year to play VGC, next year is going to be the year, and we're going to keep on making kind of these videos to help you out as it goes along. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Look forward to 2017. Of course, look forward to the World Championships next weekend. That's a big deal. We don't want to forget about that as well, and I'm really looking forward to the future of competitive Pokemon and VGC. So, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and leave a like always if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace.